Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa ummatihi ajma'een. Fasting in the month of Ramadan, it makes us humble. Well, that is what it is supposed to do. Humility is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, arrogance and pride are those that are against the teachings of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this many times in the Noble Quran, either directly or indirectly. What is arrogance and pride? In Islam, it is known as something, an expression when you look down upon people thinking that they are lower than yourself. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a hadith in Sahih Muslim, he explained this very beautifully. He said, Al-Kibr, arrogance, and pride, Al-Kibr, Batarul Haqq, it is to reject the truth, Waghamtun Nas, and to look down upon the people. So the truth would be truth about your own selves, our own selves. What really are we? We are nothing. Yet, many people, they consider themselves to be something. In fact, some even consider themselves to be everything. So that is arrogance. And to look over other people and to consider them lower than yourself, that is arrogance also. So that is arrogance and pride. And the Quran condemns arrogance and pride many times, like I mentioned in the Noble Quran, such as Iblis, Shaitan, when he expressed his arrogance when he was in Jannah, in paradise, when Sayyidina Adam ala nabiyina wa alayhi salatu was created, and the ruh, the soul, had not yet been blown into him. All the angels were commanded to prostrate in front of this statue of Adam, Prophet Adam ala nabiyina wa alayhi salatu wassalam. All the angels prostrated except one entity. He was not an angel, he was a jinn, and that is Shaitan, Iblis. He did not prostrate because he expressed arrogance. He said, he is made, this Adam, this statue, is made of mud. It stinks. It is ugly. And what does mud do? It falls down. It goes downwards. But, oh Allah, you made me from fire. And what does fire do? It goes upwards. Fire is beautiful. So he had that arrogance about him, which he openly mentioned and stated there. So this arrogance and pride brought about the downfall of Shaitan, who had become the teacher of the angels, who was in Jannah. So if pride and arrogance can bring down someone who is so close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make him the most distant and far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are we? We are nothing. So arrogance and pride are very dangerous in all manners, not only when we are talking in religious terms, but also in worldly terms as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Noble Quran also, he says, Innahu la yuhibbul mustakbirin. Allah does not like those people who are arrogant, who are full of pride. Allah dislikes them. And then he also mentions, وَلَا تُسَعِرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. Do not turn your cheek away from the people out of contempt. Meaning, I don't want to talk to this person because I hate him. Turning yourself away for other reasons, for lawful reasons, that's different. But turning yourself away out of contempt, that is a sign of arrogance. وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. And do not walk in the earth or in this world in an arrogant manner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like arrogant people. He does not like people who are full of pride. And then our beloved sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, he mentioned, and this is a hadith in Sahih Muslim, La yadkhulul jannata. Nobody will enter paradise who has this particular characteristic. Who is that person? لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه, who has in his heart مثقال ذرة من كبر. Mithqal, an atom's weight, a seed, a tiny piece of arrogance in his heart. Anyone who has even a single portion of arrogance in their heart, they're going to suffer very badly in the akhirah. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, they will not enter paradise. We all want to enter paradise. That is our real home. But in order to enter it, we need to have not only the best character, not only the best beliefs, but also the best form of iman inside of us, with zero arrogance, zero pride. We must clean ourselves of this filth, of this evil, which brings the downfall of not only individuals, but entire groups, entire communities, entire civilizations. Arrogance has brought down many, many civilizations. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentions, this is in At-Tirmidhi, Man tawada'a lillahi rafa'ahu Allah. Whoever humbles himself for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told him so. And he has. Man tawada'a lillahi, whoever humbles himself, gets rid of his arrogance, gets rid of his pride for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know what Allah does? Rafa'ahu Allah, Allah raises him up. So arrogance is expression of being high. And being humble is an expression of being low. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns this the other way around. Whoever willfully shows pride, Allah debases him, throws him the lowest of the low. And whoever shows himself to be humble, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises his status and makes him high. Subhanallah, what a beautiful ayah of the noble Quran teaching us, a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaching us to be humble, to be low, and Allah will raise us high. Subhanallah. Man tawada lillahi rafa'ahu Allah, wa man takabbara wada'ahu Allah. And whoever shows arrogance, whoever expresses that he is higher than others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws him down, Allah will debase him. So always try to be the opposite when it comes to arrogance, pride, humility, humbleness. Always try to be humble. Allah will raise you up. Always express humility. Allah will elevate you. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was the first Khalifa of the Muslims, and despite being the Khalifa of the Muslims, he always expressed humbleness and humility. One day he was carrying a pot of water for a woman, for a poor woman. He was carrying some water, and he was a Khalifa of that time. And when somebody else came and said, "Oh Khalifa of the Muslims, you are the leader of all the Muslims, let me carry this for you." And Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he responded by saying, "Leave me, because I have been entrusted with this task. I have been told to do it, so this is why I am doing it. You leave me, you go and do it your own." So this was the humility and humbleness of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu in his service to others. Once somebody mentioned to him that he is the leader of the people, and he said, "Ana Sayyidun Nas, I am the leader of the people." Then he said, "La, walakinni rajulun min al-Muslimin. In fact, I am only a humble person from among the Muslims." This is the humbleness of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he used to carry sacks of food for the poor and needy. When he was the Khalifa, when he was the leader of all the Muslims in this huge, vast area. But he would still carry sacks of food and drink for the poor and for the needy people. Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also known for his humility and for his generosity. And for the sake of Islam, he contributed so much. In fact, at many times he sacrificed everything. Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhahul kareem, who could have led a life of luxury, yet he decided to choose a life of simplicity. That was the Khalifa of that time, Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhahul kareem, and expressing his humility. And there are many, many examples that we can continue to give with regards to the humility and humbleness. Look at our beloved sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. If he wanted to become the king of kings, he could have. If he wanted to be the emperor of emperors, he could have. If he wanted to be wealthy, he could have. If he wanted to be a leader, he could have. Yet he chose humbleness, and he preferred to live his life among the poor and needy out of his own humbleness. Yet he was the greatest of all created beings. Subhanallah. And there are many other narrations, and there are many other stories that we can learn from the stories of the companions, from the stories of the Sufiyas, Sayyidina Imam Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, from also Harun al-Rashid, from Imam Sayyidina Hassan al-Basri, so also from Sayyidina Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, from Rabi'a al-Adawiyya. When someone asked her, while she was carrying some water, and she said that I am carrying it to remind myself of my insignificance before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidina Junayd al-Baghdadi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And there are many, many other stories that we can narrate regarding how these great people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they expressed humbleness and humility, and today everybody talks about them in greatness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this beautiful and blessed day of month of Ramadan, whilst we are hungry and thirsty and tired, teach us the true meaning of humbleness and humility, and make us better people. Ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.